Thank you everyone for sticking around. I'll need this. Cool. Let's see whether I can move forward. I know that one. Good. So Gerard invited me to discuss with you some topics where we quite align, but we're not there yet. Even Gerard and I, who met, I think, one day after we saw each other online in the garden, in my garden for a cup of coffee, because what he read online was like provoking. I like to provoke there, so there will be some comments you won't like today. So that being said, right? So if we look at the model of iShare, you quite fast see that between the data provider or holder and the data services provider, there's a data exchange going on, which can be leveraged by iShare using their participant registry and authorization registry. We did this in the I4Trust project that also included some fireware components. Me not happy. So what we did is we looked on and onwards, because in the mobility industry, we see that one of the main issues that we see every day is ticketing. So who came here by public transport? All right, who came from outside the Netherlands? Did you enjoy the ticketing machines? Yes, buying the tickets. It's always very fruitful and helpful. It doesn't take for ages, it's great. Certainly when you travel a lot, and I do. So I thought, how can we remedy this? What happens in a ticket, right? It's an exchange between a consumer and a transport operator. One gives me the entitlement to travel, and the other one gives them their entitlement to my money, which is nice. So what we see here is slightly different picture where we want a transaction to be foreseeable and accountable. Because I'm a philosopher, trust is a very tricky subject, right? Never use the words trust in your presentations again, because you're a laughingstock. So what do we see when we see transactions? We see an alignment. So the alignment we created was one on metadata, but very simple, with the interactions that we have been doing since people have been bargaining with one another, to identify the other and to give, as promised, foreseeable and accountable that was promised. So leveraging this into an output-based sequence, you create interoperability. So I can do my payment interactions with whomever I want. I can do my service interactions with whoever I want. But with the payment, I have a different identity than when I'm traveling. In the Netherlands, I cannot travel anonymously unless I buy a ticket with cash money, right? So no subscriptions, no promised models as mass, because the issue was that my identity as the paying customer is not the same as my identity as the traveling customer. So what we did was to create a transaction, or I think that in iShare terms, it would be referred to as an identity broker, where the transaction broker is actually literally a API, not more than that, that organizes the state of play for the different organizations that are part of an activity. And that means that everyone's informed of when they need to act. And this makes us for smooth processing between different organizations, which is nice, because then I can check in and check out with any provider of public transport, shared bicycles, parking, charging my car, but I can also pay with one account. Oh, wow. So, well, the generic effects that we created were the interoperability aspects, the compliance aspects, but also the interchangeability aspects. And this hurts. Why? Because if we make things interchangeable, we can play into the levels of economics of scale and the economics of scope, which means that all the small and probably in future irrelevant financial clearinghouses, right, can merge into one, reducing the cost for the industry and improving the experience for the passengers. Wow. Next page, please. So, privacy contained, data sovereignty in place, because the check-in is not just relevant for me as a passenger paying for my ticket, but also for the transport operator in many things, in their maintenance, in their security, in their inspections, everything like that. Thanks, Rajiv. You're up next, right? But also for the authorities that need to align these different public transport networks and to create one sustainable whole, which is easily accessible and thus can be some kind of competitor for the private car. So, reduce the cost of digital ticketing, travel anywhere using your home account, right? Not just stopping at the Dutch borders, but going way abroad, whole of Europe possible, already talking to the US. And you can travel anonymously, which the Germans really like, actually, contributing to societal goals, right? Lovely paradoxes. So, public transport, demand responsive, you might notice as taxis or special transportation for kids going to school or the elderly, shared mobility, bikes and cars, parking, charging, whatever. We're now doing, we have the first implementations with Mobile, which is an app in the Eindhoven region that actually has Bluetooth check-in, check-out of all their buses, which they're now going to roll out throughout the Netherlands. So we are now building a banking-grade financial clearinghouse in order to fulfill all the transactional services in the background in a scalable fashion. So transparent, cost-reductive, and creating value for everyone. So, want to know what it does for your domain? Just give me a ring. Thank you.